So no, I really do want. There we go.
Oh my God.
Benefits to gentrifying neighborhoods.
I feel weird talking on this.
Why?
Close to godliness.
I mean, I think it depends on how you look at it. If you look at it sheer capitalism,
I'm on my 1990.
sheer capitalism, no one can argue that it's a good thing or a bad thing.
But who is benefiting from it? Like, gentrification does not help the businesses that are already established benefit.
Why not?
How? Because whenever new businesses come and it's like a takeover kind of thing, the businesses shut down
But
or they lose.
real estate's limited, so a lot of businesses.
This ain't the first few times. This happens.
You know what I mean? Like Crenshaw Boulevard, the real estate is limited. So if all those shops are already occupied, how is it that they're not benefiting from it?
Because they get bought out.
Not responding.
So they're choosing to sell. So it's a choice.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't always have a choice. When you're like bullied into making a decision, which oftentimes that's how it is with gentrification.
I don't agree.
Rent goes higher.
I don't agree with bullying. I don't agree with using distress to persuade buyers.
You don't believe in it, but it's a tactic that happens to work. Because if one business comes in and then rent is skyrocketed for the whole area, people can't afford to pay their rent and their mortgages for whatever businesses they have. Because most of the businesses are typically mom and pop shops, right?
So do they own it or are they renting the real estate?
Some own it, some rent it.
So if you own, you have an advantage.
Yes, you have an advantage, but think about the difficulties it takes for a person of color, especially a black person, to actually own a business. We have to go through so many loops. We don't get opportunities to have loans, and then the bigger loans that are afforded to other ethnicities aren't afforded to us. Even if our credit is good and we have great withstanding with everything, we still don't get afforded the same opportunities. So that's the problem when it comes to gentrification. It's like, okay, yeah, it's fine if you're coming in, but what does it mean for your business to be here? That means my business is going to suffer because I have X, Y, and Z working against me, and it's already been set in place. You know, like if my business has been here for 15 years, and yeah, we own it, but this is a small shop right here, and then, like, let's say it's a bookstore here, but you're gentrifying our neighborhood and you want to bring a bigger bookstore or corporation here, now you're shutting me down. And that's what happens a lot of times with gentrification. It's not just you're moving in with the same businesses that are already on the block. So you're taking away from our business and you're like forcing us to, like, you're forcing our hand. Like, we have no other choice. We can't afford our rent here, and then now we can't afford our rent at home. So one of them has to go.
Well, that's a lot of different moving pieces because rent is usually signed in 7 to 10 year contracts. So
you can sign a contract, but what is your monthly? How are you, like?
It's set for 7 to 10 years in advance. That's how most commercial real estate leases are written
So they're
out.
paying that up front.
No.
Exactly. See how, like,
But it's a contract stating, like, it's like your rent here stating, like, your rent is X for this thing.
But if something were to happen and I'm not able to pay that monthly now, even though I'm in this contract, I can't afford to pay the monthly, so...
But that goes across the board with everything. I'm playing devil's advocate.
I know.
That goes across the board for everything. You could do that in downtown LA on Melrose. You could have a Louis Vuitton store and Gucci opens across the street.
Absolutely.
And it's going to affect your business.
But here's the thing. So gentrification, it's not just like in the quote-unquote urban neighborhoods. It happens anywhere. Gentrifying is like moving in and like taking over. That's like to me, that's how I would just describe it. Like, we're going to move in a new business, and maybe the same business that's already here, just on a different level.
Do you believe in competition?
In healthy competition, yeah. But it's like, why am I going to threaten or choose an opponent that is somewhat lesser than
capitalism. That's what I'm saying. It's
a takeover. It's not like capitalism really is just about taking over, and it's about continuing institutions.
It's just about money.
But money is an institution itself. Everything that
I agree. No, I agree.
that runs it's tied to another institution, whether it's education. Education is not education anymore, it's an institution. The medical field is an institution. It's all ran by money.
So you don't think that the money getting poured into lower income neighborhoods is good with I think it brings positives too with infrastructure. All the infrastructure is getting improved drastically in the area.
Well, it's one of those things like,
and it kicks out a lot of crime as well, which is good.
well,
If you're talking about businesses, I agree with what you're saying, because I do believe in small business. I believe in having different people own different businesses. It's what makes business work. But I also think gentrification improves the quality of the neighborhood.
but think about the businesses that are being brought to neighborhoods.
I would just need a specific example.
So, okay, case in point, like this neighborhood over here.
Yeah.
So, Crenshaw is getting a train station now. This is the most I've seen, like, white people in Crenshaw. And that's because a train is coming. Smaller businesses are...
There's also, they announced that the Forum was sold. They're building into 2 new stadiums.
Right, you see? So it's like, think about the businesses that are coming, that are being established with gentrification. If you really wanted to help a neighborhood and like run the quote unquote bad out, how about you have more medical facilities that are offering mental health and all these other things? How about you create a recreation center?
Well,
you know, it's like, if you what is the actual improvement of the neighborhood?
I'll tell you, for the medical, you need high paid employees, and the taxes in this area, you're not bringing in any taxes in the area, so you can't pay these people.
But that's the thing, gentrifying isn't about helping people. So if you're talking about improving the neighborhood, it's not improving.
I said the infrastructure. I said it's improving the infrastructure.
But why not just do that? Because there are people that are actually like living here still.
Listen, I 100% agree with you. I'm playing devil's advocate right now.
I know.
It's pure capitalism. They don't see people; they see money.
And that's why gentrification is not good. Like,
it's not good for people, but it is good for business.
The
and
amount of
infrastructure.
people compared to the amount of like businesses and corporations, it doesn't really compare. There's definitely way more people, but there's not enough power. Like, the people don't have enough power, and which is money, to wipe out the corporations. It's always skewed. So yeah, you can try and have like a positive spin on it, but at the end of the day, it only benefits the corporations. I can't even say like it benefits the business owners.
I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. Our landlord, Ed Carter, the value of his home has gone up over $200,000. He's benefiting from it, and he's a person of the neighborhood.
But he's also a person that built onto his home, so he put more value.
Anyone who owns a home in this area has benefited from gentrification.
This is true, but specifically his house, because he's added more value to his home, he has more.
That's true, but the same person who owns a house 2 streets down and 5 blocks over, I don't know who that is, but they could be in a single family home. I guarantee that their property value has gone up since.
Their property value has gone up, and I would say in the next 5 or 6 years, a lot of people will not be living in these homes.
Because they'll choose to sell. So I think
not always.
Most of the time.
Most people can't afford it. If you think about like this area and like going more into Inglewood in the actual homes, not the apartments of Inglewood. It's older people that have been living there, or just
and I'll tell you what happens. I'll tell you exactly what happens because I work in real estate. It will be often than not, it's the grandchild who inherits the home, and they see it, and they don't want to live in the home, and So they take the first offer they get, and that's the biggest problem in these areas, predominantly with minorities, is they take the first offer they get, and they don't hold off. And
That's one scenario.
That happens very, very often. If you look at Venice, California, which is arguably one of the most gentrified spots in the nation,
Yeah.
look at who sold first. You can never be the first one to sell. You always want to be the last to sell. And,
This is very true.
and I think the biggest problem with gentrification is those who rent versus those who own. And I can speak from experience working in apartments that rent control was established as a home buyers program for people to be able to save money to buy homes.
Yes, and it's not that anymore.
Well, people didn't take advantage of it. They decided to stay in the apartments, and you have people bragging about living in apartments for 30 years.
Yeah.
So they didn't take advantage of the program. Now, I don't know what reasons that was for, but I just think the biggest problem with gentrification is renting versus owning, and most people rent. So there has to be a movement where people start to buy, because then these can't happen.
So I have a question. So I know, like in Menifee, there are, because my sister did it with their home. They went into a contract where it's rent to own. Is it? I haven't seen too much of that in LA, where it's actually like nicer homes as well.
Yeah.
Rent to own options when they're looking for homes. I haven't seen that. How often does that happen?
That doesn't really exist anymore.
So see, it depends on the area, because in Menifee and Temecula, they have rent to own options.
Yeah, but that area's not going to get gentrified.
But why is it not going to be gentrified?
The value of the real estate's not great.
The value of the real estate, and then look at the actual community. Who are the majority? It's not minorities. Gentrifying is about wiping out. Like, if you get down to the heart of it, they want to wipe it out. We're gonna push this line further and further. You've heard of redlining. We want to push you further and further away.
But that's not what redlining is. When you're buying real estate and you're creating boundaries of who lives in certain areas.
You don't think that happens with gentrifying? They're tied together.
I think they'll gentrify wherever real estate's valuable, and there's a lot more poor white people than poor Black or Hispanic people. That
is true.
That also has to do with the population. But I'm just saying, I think wherever there's value in real estate, they'll gentrify. Like, why aren't they gentrifying in the middle of Oklahoma where it's a bunch of trailer parks and white trash? There's no value in the real estate out there.
That's true, but
there's a lot of value in the real estate in Los Angeles, and the people are predominantly getting kicked out to Lancaster, Palmdale, San Marino Valley, because the real estate doesn't have much value out there. It's not in a high desirable area.
But why not just help fix up the areas that's already there? Why not put more money into the establishments that are pre-existing?
It all money comes down to money. They're gonna benefit whoever's paying the highest taxes. It gets their areas benefited first.
Wouldn't it seem like there's more money in investing in a company that's already there? So, like, let's say Watts, because they're starting to gentrify that. You're seeing way more Asians and way more whites in the heart of Watts.
Okay.
103rd, Grape Street, all over there. Like, you're seeing way more whites, and they're actually like buying homes.
Yeah.
So why not just help the businesses that are already there? You being an investor, and
I would. And for the record, Brittany's phone, I would help the business. I'm playing devil's advocate.
But that, like, I see that as a problem. Like, you're not trying to help a community. You're not. Because
I just said I would.
No, you would. But I'm just saying, like, you as, like, the larger people that are trying to gentrify and things like that.
Because, once again, capitalism is all about money. There's no sympathy for anybody. It's all about how much money you can acquire. That's it.
So,
and I think people who own homes in gentrified areas will reap the benefits 100%.
If they can hold on to those homes.
But they can. You just have to keep making the payment. Like,
so,
nothing changes.
What if they can't make the
That's
payment?
That's their fault.
No, because here's the thing.
If you can't make the payment, who else are you going to blame? Are you going to blame the random construction worker?
If you can't make the payment, you are to blame.
You are.
There's so much
You're
that
to-
goes into that because
you are to blame for your
But
your
listen,
income. You
most-
can't blame other people for your income.
not necessarily. Most people.
Look at Amber, perfect example. She wasn't happy working a job at 4 a.m. Changed. Now she
Yes.
works at WeWorks,
But
getting paid.
let me ask. Wait, let's bring Amber in this.
Sure.
Amber, what kind of household did you come from?
A 2-parent household.
2-parent household. And what kind of jobs did your parents have?
My mom's stay-at-home mom. My dad works for Kaiser.
So that in itself, Kaiser is a really good corporation to be a part of,
Okay, yeah.
right?
Did he go to college?
My dad? No,
Yeah.
he got a trade.
There you go.
Now wait, that is not a typical situation.
A trade?
No. And for your parents to work in the medical industry
And having 2 parents in the home.
and to having 2 parents in the home. So you have to look at the social.
With making a payment on your home.
So
You have
for
to look at
African-Americans-
the social aspect of things because
For
there's
African-Americans,
a bit of generational knowledge and wealth that has been
But
instilled
it
in
doesn't
her.
take knowledge to make a payment on your home.
I'm in a.
It makes a world of a difference when you have that knowledge.
No.
Yes,
No.
it does.
If you know, do you know your rent's due on the 1st?
It doesn't matter if you know when it's due or not.
She's still recording.
Yeah.
Any of this.
It's not that.